do you have any idea where this entrepreneurial spirit came from? This ability to just look at the world, and you're talking about a skill that a lot of people work to have, to recognize the gaps in the market and then align that with something that they're interested in, and then having the bravery to dive in and open a business and do the entrepreneurial things. So do you have any idea, like, were your parents business owners, or was there anyone or anything that inspired you to thinking this way?
Well, I was raised on a dairy farm. My dad had a large dairy farm in our area, so I was raised with the work ethic, everything from, raising the calves to, the whole herd management and milking and making sure that, all of the safety and health regulations and everything that go along with food production. So I learned about business in the farming realm, because every farm is a business, even if it's a small farm gate sale. I mean, it's a business. So I learned that. I learned the hard work ethic, but I've also been insatiably curious. I'm always asking why, how come, what if. And this is just part of who I am. I dreamt of being a veterinarian. That's what I wanted, but then I went off into a different direction. But if the vet would come out, I was always there. Like, what are you doing? How come? Like, how does this work? So I've always been insatiably curious. And every once in a while, something would just sort of strike me in a way that I would go, I want to follow this path just a little bit further. Like, who would think of a pet store, out in the middle of ice flows, like there's something wrong with people like that. But, that's kind of where my mind went. And because I like people, I like humans, and I like engaging with people and, just talking to them and finding out about their life. That's how I found out or figured that there was likely a gap in this whole, isolation, people wanting, like even talking to a fish. It's something live in your room in the camp, that you can talk to. So I've been insatiably curious. I really like people, and I'm kind of bold. I like, in another life, I might have been an astronaut, I could go where no man or woman has gone before. And so some of my ideas really don't work. I have some brilliant ideas, but the execution or just, the timing is wrong. But what I do is, as a hobby, I write business plans. Every business needs a business plan. And so now, in the last, let's call it 35 years, every time I have one of my brilliant ideas, and they are all brilliant, just so you know, every time I have an absolutely rock solid, brilliant idea, the first thing I do is I write out the business plan. I look at the marketing, I look at the social media, I look at the plan, I look at the, imaginary name, and I do, cash flow projections, and I take a look at all of that stuff. And probably 99% of them, once you do that discipline, that exercise of putting them down on paper, you look and you go like, as a hobby, it would be a good thing. But as a business, you know what? It's not going to buy your Wheaties. So, you know what? Move on to the next idea. And I'm perfectly okay with dropping that idea and moving on to the next.